everyone. We're here at H2 Meet 2024 here in Korea, and we are up for our current interview with Varun Gulati from Solar Quarter. Hi Varun, how are you?
I'm good.
Thank you so much for making time for an interview with us today.
It's a pleasure being here.
What part of the energy sector do you work in specifically?
So Solar Quarter is one of the largest business information company focusing on solar energy in specific, but also its integration with other areas of renewables and clean energy space. And today I think we are here to maybe study more and also delve more into the fact that how solar and hydrogen are both going hand in hand and changing the dynamics of the clean energy space.
All right, sounds great. I think we need to go deeper into this conversation. Come over here, have a seat. Let's start our interview. So you are working in the solar field, not just in solar or electric energy, but hydrogen, how they're both kind of affecting this clean energy space. Let's go into a little more detail. What specifically does your company do in this area?
So we are currently studying a lot of global trends and how things are shaping up. At Solar Quarter, we do a lot of publishing. We also curate a lot of content from the latest in technology, latest in business, latest in policies and regulations from across the globe, and how the markets are shaping up, what are the new business opportunities which are coming up. So I think from an information point of view, we've been working in this space for around 12 years.
Okay.
And today, we are at the forefront of global information in the clean tech space. And I think hydrogen today is a fantastic opportunity to take clean energy where it hadn't gone before.
Okay, so you mentioned the forefront of global information. So you mentioned so many parts that you're working with or a part of or dealing with in this sector. You mentioned the word global, but let's start a little more on the micro scale. We're here in Korea. Can you talk first a little bit about the Korean market?
So I think Korea today is at the forefront of hydrogen.
Okay.
Today at H2 Meet, I've been speaking to some of the companies and the latest in terms of innovation, what is happening. So Korea is, first of all, in terms of energy, it is heavily dependent on oil, on gas, on coal.
Sure.
So it also is looking for ways to expand its energy market beyond the traditional fossil fuels and move into a clean energy space. So Korea has been experiencing a very high rate of growth in terms of renewables, especially the solar space, and it's investing a lot in terms of technology for the hydrogen. So I think we've seen some cutting edge innovations in manufacturing, in logistics, in mobile hydrogen space, and also in terms of the fuel cell market which is coming up. So all these are very exciting space, and Korea today is spreading a lot of this technology to the globe. So it's a fantastic time to be in Korea.
So you talked about how your company deals with the whole spectrum of clean energy, whether it be solar, whether it be hydrogen. There's also biofuel and all this stuff going on. Specifically though, we're here at a hydrogen exhibition. So what makes hydrogen so unique or so promising, or maybe a little different than the other energy technologies that you're seeing?
So renewables as an electricity source had its limitations. It was primarily focused on the electricity requirements of either individuals, homes, factories, etc. But if you see the energy market, around 60%, or I'll say around 50% of the energy market overall is beyond electricity. So when we talk about heat, which is used in industries, when you talk about mobility for and the transport sector, so these are some of the areas where electricity cannot directly go to. With hydrogen coming into play, it acts as a further enabler to where clean energy can be taken to. So a lot of the hydrogen being produced today is powered by green energy. So that green is now being converted into a different fuel form, which can power industries, which can power transport, and also by using hydrogen as a storage mechanism, you can store excess of renewables in form of hydrogen and use as and when you need it.
So hydrogen has all these different various potentials, as you just mentioned, and we're here in Korea, as you mentioned, as being one of the forefront of this technology. Before we go macro to the global scale, I just want to touch on why Korea is at the forefront of this. From my interviews and what I kind of heard in the industry, is that it's because the Korean government is advocating this so much and helping so much with funding and pushing this technology forward. From a previous interview I had, from a French perspective, he was saying how in France there's not as much as government funding, and you're based in India. We're here in Korea with a bunch of government funding. Do you see that being a huge reason why Korea is doing so well and why they're such a major player in this industry is because of the government funding and support? Do you think it's another reason? And how does this compare to either your home country or the global market in general?
So I think Korea has always been forward-looking in terms of adapting and developing new technology. So what I see here is the government definitely is promoting a lot of collaborations. That's opening doors for, because technology today is not, situated or is not limited to any one particular market.
Right.
And collaborations are important between different countries. So this government intervention, and especially the focus on bringing in, whether it's European technology or latest players from US or China or Japan, and bringing them here to Korea and introducing the Korean players to them, is facilitating that rapid or exponential growth in terms of technology. So that's where definitely the government's focus has really played out well. Also, I believe that in terms of the geographical position which Korea has today, it is situated near some of the highly advanced energy tech companies.
Sure.
So whether it's from China or Japan, or even its access to the Western markets. So all this combined with the fact that it needs its own energy consumptions to be met, I think there's a lot of innovation happening, and that is driving a lot of technological advancements for hydrogen in Korea.
And it's really interesting to see, because Korea compared to, I'm from the States, you're from India, they're such big countries, right, with a huge population. And relatively, this is a smaller country with a smaller population, but I mean, there's a lot of people in Seoul, but so much technology, whether it be development in software, hardware, or forward thinking, as you said, is coming out of Korea at this point, and its geographical location is making it such a major player right now. You also touched on collaborations. We could talk about country specific or region specific. I'm not the expert, you are. So do you see these collaborations as being from country to country, from region to region? Is Korea doing something specifically with India, or do you see it more as like Asia as a whole is working with North America? How do you see these collaborations happen?
So I think in today's H2 Meet, UK is one of the invited partners here. So in my personal opinion, technology collaborations will have to work on a country-to-country basis.
Okay.
Because of the regulations and how the markets are growing.
Sure.
And that being said, when you enter into new countries, into new geographies, definitely the entire region opens up to you. So, so today there are a lot of strategic partners to Korea in terms of what's happening in hydrogen. India definitely is one of the major, hubs of green hydrogen.
Okay.
In the world. It has a lot of new policies, a lot of new initiatives which have come up. And what I also see is that globally there is there's more focus on standardization of the policies and the frameworks which companies are adopting. So recently I was in the Middle East, and the UAE government is now focusing on bringing out its national policy on the on green hydrogen.
Okay.
Okay, and they similarly in many of the new developing countries, such policies which did not exist earlier are now being set into place, and that is creating more market opportunities and the standardization which this industry needs. So I think today we are at a very infant stage of the industry. I'm very happy to see a lot of standardization in terms of certifications, testing, and safety measures. Hydrogen is, you really don't want a bad name to this industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
So keeping all that, at the center, I think policy and regulation, across the globe is now coming together to make this market happen.
I think that's such an interesting point, because as far as I know, the idea of hydrogen technology and being used as an alternative fuel source actually has been around for a while. And I worked this exhibition last year, and I was shocked to find out that, hey, we have this clean energy source, why are not more people using it? And now that you mention it, all comes down to, well, not all comes down to, but it comes down to several things such as standardization, policy, strategy, which I didn't even think of. How do we get this out to the public? How do we get this out to not just the public, but industries, business? There's so many sectors this can be used in, and it all comes down to standardization, policy, and of course, safety. I think until every new technology, whether it be hydrogen, whether it be AI, whatever it is, safety is always a big issue. Is this going to be dangerous? Of course, we want it to benefit human society, but in order for this to happen, I thought of it more like, why can't all the countries just say, oh, let's just convert to hydrogen, or oh, let's just use electricity? But that's not how it works. Every country has a different safety and standard system. So they have to develop it in-house or in their country, and then you're saying as it starts to spread to regions, it can start to spread globally. So it really starts on all of us kind of doing our own part. It's not about just, hey, India and Korea, let's work together and make this happen. It's about Korea doing their part with standardization and testing, India doing their part of standardization and testing, North America or America doing this part of standardization and testing, and bringing it more to regional and then to globally. Now that, I guess in that way, hydrogen fuel, while the technology has been around for a while, it's now considered a present or current or future technology because of the standardization and this testing. In those regards, how quickly do you see this developing? Because as far as I know, hydrogen technology has been around a while, but the standardization process is maybe what limits something coming into the world as soon as possible. Now that these policies are coming into fruition, how soon do you see hydrogen being used more in the general public?
So hydrogen, is actually decarbonizing a lot of different industries.
Okay.
So
currently.
Okay. And the usage is, it's quite wide. We have, let's say, the large steel and cement industry, which uses it for its, as an alternative fuel. Then you have mobility as a segment. You have smaller applications in fuel cell. There is usage in military, which is coming up. So, and as compared to last year, there's so much new which has come up.
Within the year.
Just within a year, that each new tech at least takes 2 to 3 years just to get certified.
Okay.
So and any new industry or any new country wants to adopt technology which is proven. Nobody just wants to be a ground for just proving new tech all the time.
Sure.
So as this the solutions are maturing, more and more industries will adopt it from what is happening on the other markets. So Korea is also setting up today that pilot cases, the use cases, which other countries can then adopt, saying, okay, this has been working for last 2-3 years in this market. It has been approved by such tough regulations or the safety controls.
Sure.
Now is the right time to get this back into our country and start, implementing it.
Do you see there ever being an international standard being developed, or do you think these standards and specifications are going to be country specific or region specific?
I think it's already happening. There are a lot of standards which are now being developed are of international level, and I think that is what actually will make this scalable, because we really don't want a lot of multiple regulations or multiple standards to come in,
of course,
and
to make it
create
more
more
complicated.
So to make it easily accessible and to have more points in the space, I think the standardization is already being worked upon at an international level. A lot of new research studies have been put up, and there are some global bodies which have been working on creating these standards. And once I think it's adopted by the major markets, I think the developing markets very comfortably follow the same.
And what's Solar Quarter's role in all of this? How are you guys either pushing the market forward or helping get this information out there? I mean, there's so many parts of this. Rules and regulation are one thing. Education is obviously part of it with new technology. Brand awareness of why hydrogen power is so important. What's Solar Quarter's specific role in getting this all out there?
So I think first of all, awareness. That's, I think, one of the major focus areas. So we, over the last 12 to 14 years, have focused on creating the sort of awareness about solar energy. Because if you talk about what's happened in the last 14 years, 14 years back, nobody used to consider solar as a mainstream source of power.
Right.
It was always considered as just like you're saying, the hydrogen has been there for so many years. Solar was there for around 40-50 years, but the mass adoption came only in the last decade or so. So first is awareness. Second, I think the next, so by putting out much more information out there, much more in terms of the regular updates which industry needs, and also try to publish what is happening in arenas like this, in front of the industry, and talking about what are the different cases which are now being built. That creates for acceptability within the market. So following awareness comes your acceptability. Then definitely the market players. If you're today it's such a fast-paced world, and energy is driving investments into different fields and arenas. So unless and until there is a noise about hydrogen, okay?
Yeah, you got to create noise. Sure.
Yeah. So without that, I think every technology needs its space to talk about what it can do and the potential that really lies. So our primary focus right now is to talk about the arenas where solar and hydrogen together become let's say a very, very competitive alternative to the mainstream electricity.
And I'm not an expert, so correct me if I'm wrong, but the reason why hydrogen and solar should be used together is to create what's known as green hydrogen, correct?
Absolutely.
So there's gray hydrogen being the not so eco-friendly hydrogen alternative. A lot of people, have a misconception that like EV vehicles are completely eco-friendly. They're not. It takes fossil fuels to make EV batteries and such, and hydrogen, while it may be, once it gets to that source itself, while it may be a environmental friendly source, in order to produce it, you also have to use environmentally friendly technology in order to produce it. So you're talking about the combination of solar and hydrogen working together to create a true green hydrogen sustainable world. You were talking about distributing awareness and spreading awareness. How is this going to be done? I mean, I'm part of the general public. I would like to know more about this. Are you addressing all sectors, as in government, business, and the consumer themselves? Is your general strategy to approach businesses first, like the big players here like Samsung, Hyundai, SK, or how do you approach distributing information?
So I think first, before it reaches the mass public, a lot of decisions are made within the business community.
Okay.
So for us, it's first more important to create that kind of an awareness and acceptance within the businesses themselves.
Before governments?
Of course, the government is, already
Okay.
a player there. It's already a stakeholder.
Okay.
Because they are the ones, who make the market move. And I think even governments need to be informed today.
Sure.
Of what is happening in different parts of the world,
Okay.
so that they can have something which is, more suitable for their countries and their markets. And so governments and the private stakeholders, I think both together, coming, on platforms and talking about the latest advancements creates a lot of confidence. You spoke about electric vehicles. I think electric vehicles and hydrogen mobility, again, within the automobile industry, there's a lot of to and fro.
Yep.
Which, for example, which is better, and who will win the race.
Yep.
EVs definitely have an edge today. They have already gone out to the market. And hydrogen is slowly catching up. And I think in heavy vehicle transport, maybe hydrogen has a very good chance to make its presence felt much before the EVs can. So there's a lot going on, and I think everybody needs to be needs to have the information on the fingertips.
Right.
You really cannot wait for having information coming to you delivered via traditional methods or old school channels.
Textbook, right?
Exactly. So whether it's social media, whether it is websites, whether it is putting out research papers, whether it is creating tech papers, white papers, everything is needed so that better information and better decision making can happen.
There we go. So in order to get this technology out there as soon as possible to help as many people as possible, awareness is the big factor here. You guys deal with everything about solar energy information, and you're talking here today about solar and hydrogen working together to create green hydrogen, which is one of the most sustainable energy sources that is being developed today, available in some areas, hopefully affects our planet and our future in a better way. Looking at tomorrow, as you said, it develops so quickly. This technology has been around for about 40 or 50 years, but now that the regulations, the policies, the technology is being
And the
developed,
pricing.
And the pricing.
Which is now on the downturn, and I think it's coming, it's making it more affordable for the industries to adopt.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us today and telling us more about the industry. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks
Appreciate
for
it
having
so
me
much.
here. Thanks.
That's Solar Quarter. Here we are at H2 Meet in Korea.